Hi and welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today I'm going to show you how I do a peacock string pull. I'm not trying to create a peacock feather by any means. I'm not that artistically inclined, but I'll try my best to make it look as feathery-ish as possible. As you can see, I have a bunch of paints here and I'm trying to, well, even the white paint out on my canvas as best as I can. The pouring mixture I like to use is 50% Floetrol, 50% gloss medium and varnish, and then I add that 50-50 with paint and water until I get my desired consistency, which is a little bit runnier than most. I don't think I have any silicone in the paints this time. I really don't. At the end of the video, there'll be a video on how I mix my paints so you guys can get a little bit more of a in-depth feel for how I actually mix my paints. I have a tray here that I'm planning on using to put, well, the colors in so it's not all weird. It's easy to put the paints in a container first and then lay the string in it. The string, I determined its size by putting on the canvas before cutting it, and the canvas I'm using is just a Michael's canvas value pack that it's a 9x16 size that I just, well, as you can see, covered in white. And the colors I'm using are purple, dark blue, light blue, dark purple, well, blah, dark green, light green, dark yellow, and light yellow. I was doing dark light, and then for some reason decided to change my mind last minute. I don't know why. I determined the length of string I was going to need by laying it on the canvas before cutting it. My string ended up being around 12 inches long, and that was the perfect length for the final string pull idea that I had going on. Once I was done adding the colors to the tray, I decided to add the string into it, but I decided to lay it down first before actually covering it with the paints because, well, it would muddy all the paints together, and that's not what we want. We want the colors to be like individual on the string and create like a weird little rainbow effect almost, and that's when you'll get the, well, peacock feather, I guess, that you really want. Another trick to make sure your paints don't muddy is when you pull the string up from the paint, make sure you pull it straight up and out of the paint, and then you can lay it on the canvas once you make sure it's not really dripping anywhere anymore. Here I was just randomly laying it down, trying to create something different and new. The idea is to pull it straight down from the same spot every time, and mine kind of, well, wandered, and I didn't really want that. I wonder what would have happened if I had let it wander. It would have been kind of neat, I think. Looking at doing a string pull week. Let me know what you think. So I squeegeed the string off with my fingers before I laid it back down in the paint, and I tried to make sure that the colors like coincided on the string again first. Floetrol can make cells just as silicone can. As you can see, my Mr. Kitty is very curious with what I'm doing to these strings. The second method I'm going for here is called a hook method, and it's just, well, as you can see, it's a hook, but I didn't put it far enough up the canvas, so I missed out on some of the yellows, so I had to do a second swipe-ish by putting the yellow on the canvas and just kind of pulling it along. So far, I'm really liking how the colors are mixing, especially in that first one. It really came out different in a good way. So once I added the yellow back in, I squeegeed off the string again and, well, put it back in the paint. As I was putting it back in the paint and, well, trying to get all the paint off of it and off my fingers, it made it really easy to lay it back in, and then I just covered it again. It's kind of nice having a fuzzy cheerleader to cheer me on. And as I was painting the string, my cat decided to paint his ear. because he's a good boy. So I had to rescue Jeff come and grab the cat so I could continue without him causing any more trouble. Making sure no paint dripped off, I laid it back on the canvas and created like little S's and stuff, making sure I had actually put the string high enough on the canvas this time. I think I might have put it a little too high this time. But again, especially with this method, you just want to pull straight down. Otherwise, it's gonna look really funky if you don't pull this one straight down. The string was getting really gross and wet and getting hard to work with at this point, so I decided to just grab the other string I had laying there just in case. I knew I was probably going to need it, so that's why I cut two. Once I had laid it in the paint, covered it again, trying to ensure the paints don't muddy, even though it doesn't really matter because this is the last one, but still. Just trying to conserve and prove a good point. He's guaranteed thinking, why does this white square get to play with all the string and I don't? Not fair. As you can see, I have an audience. Again, pulling the string straight up and out really helps create the sections a little bit better. I laid the string on the littlest part I could find and created so many loops that I thought it was going to be so cool, and the fact that I just started dragging it off the canvas didn't really help. And Roman gave his seal of approval. As always, I think there's probably a cat hair in that painting now. He painted his paw. It's not good. Like, comment, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already. The torch brings out all the cells. I'll see you on the next one. Bye!